Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the very famous Tuah Podcast. Tonight we have a doozy. Along my past 3 runs. So it is going to be a crazy one. I got like 3 1/4 pages of notes here, but I'm going to do my best to make it as fast as possible. I'm trying a different method. I'm going to record it on my phone instead of Snapchat and then put the entire video on my story. See what that does. If it ends up posting 100 snaps, I kind of warn you guys, but whatever, we'll see what happens. So my first one was on Friday. That one was 3 1/4, or close enough to a quarter. That run I wanted to do 4, but my body was just no. I wanted to have a good run, but my body just said no. And so the thing is, I started doing my 4-mile loop. But then once I got to this spot where you decide if I want to go 3, if I want to go 4, I decided to start doing my 4-mile loop again. But what I usually do is I go in front of the student center, but instead of taking a right, that would usually continue my loop, I took a left, and that one led me back to my dorm because my body was feeling it, and I don't think I would have made it to the entire 4. And so that was a modular loop. I kind of modified it. My side stitches were really bad. I don't know what that issue's been. That's been happening in my past few runs. It's gotten better, and I'll talk about that later too. But and then I'm looking at my notes here. My feet were hurting too. I think I might tie my shoes a little too tight. My feet are very sensitive when it comes to that, and so I had to retie my shoes at one of the crosswalks. And I took a lot of breaks, and I didn't like that I did that. But I'm getting better at not taking breaks, so I need to get a lot better. If I want to still run farther distances at this same increasing speeds, I have to do it without needing to take breaks. So overall, that run was okay. It was obviously not the best. This is not for this run. This is for the other one. The run that I've already logged. It was 4 runs ago. That I thought I was about to do 4 runs, but I already did that. I was gonna log 4 of them, right? I told you guys that, but one of the sidewalks that's been a big issue for me. I've had to go up on a hill, then down a really steep incline. That sidewalk, it was still blocked off, but it looked fine. So I knew I could run on it, but it was still kind of blocked off. So I didn't run on it this was 4 runs ago, so I didn't run it on there. This is just something that I had. And then this run too, I got this weird thing on my middle toe. I don't know what it is. I thought it was something that it might be a little bit to do with my shoes not tight enough, and it's jamming up against the front of the end of my shoe. And I thought it'd be fine, if I just it's something that's happened before, kind of. Well, not really, but I just thought it was just a one-off thing, and it would get better. That's pretty much it for that one. The second run, that one was 4 miles. That was on Saturday, and that run was a lot better. Still had side stitches, but the big thing though is that I wanted to run on the trail because I haven't ran on it in so long. But I did not consider how icy it would still be. There's not really snow. It's just a bunch of ice now, because it snowed right before I came back from break, but then it got really cold, and so it kind of all froze over, and the snow and the ice on the trail hasn't had time to melt. So I started running on it, and I was I thought it was just gonna be slushy, not icy, but it was ice, and I was gonna keep going, but then I stopped, and then I looked down the trail, and it was pretty much all covered. So I decided not to go, and I turned around, and I found a way to get back on my campus route that I usually do. And where I was when I turned around and I got to the exit of the trail, I was about the distance that, when I usually run from. There's this one crosswalk that I always stop at on my campus route, and from when I stopped when I turned around at the trail, I was at about that distance. So I knew if I just did my normal campus route, but then add the had the half mile. Hold on. It was the half mile. So I did like what my usual like 3.5 loop is. I just did that, and I knew I would get to 4, and I just barely got to it. That's gonna be a weird cut because I paused it thinking that it would save it in the camera app. So I went to like my fitness app to check it, and it didn't. So there's gonna be a cut. I'm looking here. I actually got passed by a few people. You know, not a whole lot of people run my route. But another thing is I ran kind of early in the day. And I ran at like 3 instead of 6 or 7. So there were a few more runners out. It was like shorts and long sleeve shirt day, so that was really cool. Nice for it to be a little warmer. What else here? My pace, I will say, was like kind of a bit all over the place. Like it started, kind of fast, but then it got slower, and then it got even slower, but then it was the fastest. So it was kind of all over the place, and but I knew I needed to get that in check. I can't be going all over the place like that. And like it was like a 9:06 was my third split, and then like an 8:22 was my last split. So I knew I was going way too fast. Like I gotta I have a bad habit of like really pushing at the end, and I need to just I need to gradually build up to it, and not be really slow and then go really fast at the end. Because if I do that and I'm able to hold that means I could build up my speed faster throughout my run anyways. So I could be going faster overall instead of just fast at that one point. This is something that I remembered for the other run too. There's this giant mound of dirt and mud that's been dried up, and you have to run over it, which is a little annoying. That's not that bad. Let's see. Side stitches were still kind of there, but they were definitely better. I still did take a few stops to take a few deep breaths, just kind of calm it down a little bit. That sidewalk that I was just talking about is now completely open, so there's no gate and there's no fence blocking it, so that's really nice. And it was an annoying one too because it was on a turn, and just that hill was really steep to run down. And but I'm glad that's finally fully open. But that one might be open, but now there's another one that's kind of blocked, and it's my final crosswalk that I do before I do my final push. I can still make it to the crosswalk. It's just I have to go up on a little hill, so it's not that bad. What else here? And as I was running, there was a lot of people that were walking to the basketball game, and I thought about going, but then I just didn't. When I got back here, I didn't manage my time well. And then the toe issue came back too. My toe was, my middle toe was hurting again. I really don't know what it is, and I tried to fix it, before today's run by clipping it, and I thought it would do something, and for most of the run it did, but it was still kind of came back, which was a little annoying. Now today, bro, today's run was real good. I did everything that I wanted to do. I had a consistent pace. It was a 9, I think it was a 9:11, and then it was a 9, and then it was an 8:50, but then it was and then it was a 8, what was my final split? No, I think it was a 9:11 and then a 9, and then an 8:50 something, and then an 8:20. So my pace got faster as I went on, which was really good. Like I said, I clipped my toenail to try and fix the issue, and I thought it did, but then I got back here and it's still kind of there. There's one. This is one of the biggest things of today's run is that I was on my just normal route, and I was almost at a mile, and there were these two girls that were walking in the sidewalk, and they clearly saw me coming, and they did nothing to move out of the way. Well, one of them didn't really have to do anything. The other one could have just gone behind the other one, and it would have been fine. But she didn't move over at all, and it was a little annoying. And a part of me wanted to budge through both of them or give her a shoulder tap, but I wasn't gonna be that rude. But I mean, they were being rude, so I kind of wanted to. But I didn't move at all. What else here? Yeah. Tonight was a tights and a long sleeve shirt day and gloves. It was a little warmer earlier, but I didn't get out in time, and I spent a little too time doing homework. But it was still a good run either way. It wasn't that cold. What else? I've been using this as my music player. It's kind of old. It's not that old, but it's a little tiny. Like, it's got an iPod Nano. I think I've talked about it, but like I was able to download Spotify music and then put it on here through iTunes, and so I run with this, and it's like like 10 times lighter than my phone, so I don't even notice that it's there, which is kind of nice. As long as I know it's in a pocket and like zippered up, I know it won't go anywhere. But that's been really nice. It's a lot lighter. I don't have to worry about it. I don't know. I'm starting to get back into the groove, and I know I need to keep this up. Because I didn't run yesterday because I drove to Kansas City to watch the Chiefs game and had to watch them win, and I didn't want them to, even though I was in a house full of Chiefs fans, obviously, because it's Kansas City. But I'm going to kind of get back in the groove, and I'm going to keep my consistent pace up, and when I was running like an 8:40 or whatever, it wasn't that, I didn't feel like I was pushing myself that hard. I was pushing myself a little bit. But I know that since it was only just a little bit, I wasn't like having to go all out. I knew that was kind of a good sign. When I actually first started, it was kind of... oh, shoot, I forgot to say this. I thought my watch was like tweaking because like my first split said it was not like at all what I thought it was. And so I was going to like restart it when I got to my second mile, but then once the second mile started, it kind of cleared itself up. So my watch being that bad, I thought like my run was like off to a bad start, and it kind of was. When I first started, I had like a very slight chin pain, which was a little worrying. I need to stop saying dude. So the shin pain was kind of a worry, but then it got better, and then dude, where am I at here? Oh yeah, and while I was thinking the run was bad, I was like thinking about like how I should be doing better to like prepare, like having a better diet. Like I didn't eat lunch today, I barely had breakfast, and I just barely ate anything at all today. Like I had a few bars and yogurt, but like still that wasn't enough, and I think I need to be like eating a little bit more. And I am doing proper stretching. I'm doing stretching beforehand, which I know is good, and I could be doing some post stretches because I did feel when I was getting towards the end of the run today, my thighs were really tight, and so I know I need to do some more like post stretch stuff just to make sure I'm getting what I'm putting into it. The two girls that I ran by that didn't get over, they were like the only ones. Because tonight is like this big, it's like a big thing for like fraternities and sororities. It's like chapter or something. So there's a lot of them walking around. And most of them got out of the way. There was the two girls that didn't, but there were other ones that did, and that was nice. I saw Bunny by this parking garage, so I saw him twice. Because I went by that parking garage twice, so that was kind of cool. At least I'm thinking it was the same Bunny. I was like literally in the same exact spot, so I don't know if if they moved away and then another one came by, but let's see. I was kind of easing off towards the end, like I got to a stoplight, and I knew I had a little bit left to go, and I wanted to save some of it, but I had to push harder, and I knew that like, even though if you feel like you're running the same pace for the entire time, you're gonna feel like you're going slower and slower, just because you're not going it's not feeling that different, and so you think it's the same, but it ends up and you end up just going actually slower. So I knew I had to push myself to keep up a pace that I was already doing, and I had this is like the most favorite part of my run, is I had the Finn McMissile song going in my headphones, right, and I knew that the good part was coming up, but I also knew that it wasn't gonna last for my whole run. So it was like coming towards the end of the run that it started, and I was at the second to last stoplight, and I was sitting there like, I know this song is not going to get me through the end of my run. I know what song I need. I think you guys know what song I'm talking about, right? And I was prepared to, skip through a bunch of songs to get to it. It was literally the next song. I'm like, bro, I got so hyped because I'm getting chills right now because of it. Like, I was so hyped up, dude. Like, I was just ready to go. And I will say I pushed a little too hard at the very beginning of the song. It's kind of hard not to. And, sometimes I'll even restart that song and just restart the very beginning because I love the beginning of that song. It really gets me going. But I was absolutely kicking it at the very end with that song. And then I kind of died off a little bit towards the end. I actually didn't because my pace was still crazy. Because I technically ran 4.1. So, like, my final split was, 30 seconds or something. And it said, a 7:20. So, obviously, I was kicking it really hard. I made it to the dining hall with, minutes to spare. So, that was good. They had, pork pot roast and a roll and green beans and potatoes and gravy. Mashed potatoes and gravy, which is really good. Yeah, that is pretty much it. I know this has been a long one. I'm gonna I talked about, I want to get better at my diet and stuff and preparation, and I think I'm gonna start getting more out of it. And I'm gonna finally start putting these on YouTube. I might start a channel and just do these, just so it's a little easier, and if people miss it, they can still watch them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you watch this whole thing, you guys are real ones. I don't expect you guys to watch this whole thing because it's 15 minutes or something. So yeah, peace out, guys.